Ring everything? Yeah. Got my coffee.
I'm out of
11:06.
coffee. I'm out of coffee.
Coffee. My mom. I'm at my mom, so the woman's got me stocked up on coffee. The NBA has released the CBA. Welcome to another day of the NBA show, guys. And we are here. We're going to be doing kind of like an NBA free agency primer, discussing the best fits, who we expect to get signed. Yesterday, we went over the top free agents and just kind of did who we think would stay and who would go. So now we're really just going to discuss the players that we thought are leaving, where they could end up. And besides that, we're going to discuss, what we've already heard in terms, like today we just heard Andre Drummond is going to sign with the Dallas Mavericks.
What? When did we hear that?
Like 20 minutes ago, Mark Stein of the Stein Line put out a report, and he's very well connected. And I think this is something definitely that we're going to have to hear. So I wonder what you guys think. Like, what do you think of basically the fact that Andre Drummond's going to the Dallas Mavericks? Initial thoughts, Derek Lively, Andre Drummond.
I need to confirm. All right. Dallas is expected to come to terms early in free agency with center Andre Drummond. How isn't this tampering? How is this not tampering?
It's not tampering because I guess it's his agent. I don't even know. I mean, it is tampering, but like, who cares about Andre Drummond?
I do. Somehow this guy is not 30, which is just wild. But oh my goodness, multiple rival teams told me they expect Dallas to come to terms. Like, why? How is that not tampering? No one's even talking about it, but. Yeah,
it just dropped. I mean, Mark Stein put out a report. If you want me to pull it up right here, I got it. Well,
it's great. It's a great move from him.
I mean, I like the idea of them having that center by committee, especially with Derek Lively. You can trust that Andre Drummond can be the guy who comes up and cleans up the mess. But right here is the exact tweet that I am discussing. It is stated that our man, Mark Stein of the Stein Line, Andre Drummond is expected to sign with the Dallas Mavericks per Mark Stein. Multiple rival teams have told me this week that they expect Dallas to come to terms in early free agency with former All-Star center Andre Drummond, provided Drummond, as expected, declines his $3.36 million player option with Chicago before Thursday's deadline to do so, as we've already seen multiple players to do. But what are your initial thoughts right there, hearing that a guy like Andre Drummond could be heading down south to the Texan Republic?
Yes, perfect move. Good move.
Is he a 10-minute? Is he only a 12-minute per night guy, or do you think he's a guy who definitely plays more?
I don't think he's ever been a 12-minute a night guy. So no.
He was a 12-minute per night guy this season.
In Chicago?
At 12.7 minutes a night.
Billy Donovan was pretty stupid coach for rotation minutes, in my humble opinion. But yeah, he's a good player.
I think definitely he comes in there, and I think this is a low key signing that, if it is a very cheap contract, that could pay dividends, especially with Derek Lively. Andre Drummond is going to replace like Dwight Powell. I guess JaVale McGee's still there, but like I don't really expect him to do shit. So like I think it works out great for Dallas, and he's a guy who's also played with Kyrie before in Brooklyn, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Because he played in Brooklyn, a year ago, 2 years ago? It was before or after LA he went to Brooklyn?
It was like right after Philly.
Was it right after Philly? I thought he played the full season.
Did he get traded from Philly?
Oh, yeah, he got traded. You're 100% right. I completely forgot that he got traded. Though, yeah, I mean, Andre Drummond, one of the first names in free agency, we could say. Are you surprised?
Yeah. No, I mean, I knew he wasn't coming back to Chicago. and I really wanted him back in Chicago, but it just wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, it
Why
sucks.
did he start? Go.
Now he gets an opportunity to try and win the starting job
Well,
in
the
Dallas, which will be cool for him.
interesting part for me was that this was a guy who, remember the first 20 games of the season, he was playing 15 minutes a night and averaging a double-double.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Drummond had a bunch of huge moments for us. I'm pretty shocked that he averaged 12 minutes a night. That's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, he was great at getting rebounds. He was great at it. He was a nice energy bolt. I don't know.
I
I don't
agree.
know why he only played 12 minutes. It's pretty annoying.
Are you annoyed? Are you frustrated with Billy Donovan?
I am.
Are you not a Billy Donovan fan?
I am not.
Really?
No.
Alrighty.
Not a hater, but I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would extend your head coach and then not tell anybody about it.
True.
I don't get why you would do that.
We've known that Christian Wood is gone, okay? And Christian Wood, we do know, is someone that's being targeted by the Miami Heat. What is your initial thoughts when you see a guy like Christian Wood after watching him on the Dallas Mavericks? Is he a player of value in your mind, or is Christian Wood a bum in your thoughts?
He's horrible.
You don't think there's any value? Well, what about his off? Do you think it's empty stats then? Is that what you're trying to tell us, that you believe the 6'9", 6'10" man with 7'3" wingspan, he puts up empty stats?
Yeah.
And
exactly what I'm saying.
Do you think a contender could utilize him?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a good team in your opinion that could go out and get themselves Christian Wood? I think the Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors are two teams that love their stretch bigs, and he would thrive in either of those systems if they can get him to play consistent defense. Which is weird if you look at his numbers. He gets blocks.
I'd say Taiwan is probably his best route, but I don't think Miami or Golden State would have any interest in him because of his lack of defense. It's not even like lack of defensive. It's not like Christian Wood isn't a good defender, but he also gets played at the 5, which just doesn't make sense because he's not a center. And for some reason, everybody thinks he's a center.
I mean, he's a small ball center, I guess.
He's so bad. He's so skinny and lanky. He can't hold his own. He's like a smaller Victor Wembanyama. Like, the dude's built like a twig. That's why Christian Wood, a piece of wood, built like a piece of wood. So I don't think Golden State would be interested in him because he can't play defense. But yeah, maybe a team, maybe Miami or Golden would take a chance on him because of effort, and they think they can get his effort there. But
they're the ones who can make him reach his potential.
His potential. He's past his potential. This guy's been in the league for like the longest of times now.
But the last 4 or 5 seasons is really when he came actually getting consistent minutes.
Yeah, in the last 3 seasons, he's been averaging like 18 points and 9 rebounds, and that's the highest he'll ever go. I mean, he's not he averaged 21 in Houston. He's not going to average more than 21 at any point. I mean, that would be crazy. I'd be shocked.
No, I understand the qualms you have in this current situation and why you think, like, fuck this guy. But I do think, look, I agree that Karam, he got taken off the floor. Like, Christian Wood, first 2 months in the season was like tearing it up, getting the minutes. Like, people were like, 6th man of the year candidate, Christian Wood. And then by the end of the year, it was just like, Christian who?
Yeah. People kind of stopped playing.
So I think that was an interesting part in all this. Now, here we go. Okay. We're going to do something right here that I think will be a fun little exercise. So, do you know what the board projections are?
No.
So, John Hollinger, former Memphis Grizzly, I believe, president or just, executive, now writer for The Athletic, created this because I believe what he created was the PER, or that might have been Satya Gupta. But either way, this is a rating he created based on, I believe he'll put the description right here, what the board rating is. So what he uses this board is his board methodology, okay? Which, to explain it in layman terms, is using a combination of board is partly one of the biggest inputs is PI and PM is no longer available. And he can, God damn it, dude.
None of this makes any sense.
None of this makes any sense. And he keeps making me jump through links where I was trying to preview it. And okay, he usually has a great explanation. Okay, the big ol' rating is how he determines a value, the player's value in terms of a dollar value. And
I don't give a shit how John Hollinger values players, though.
Okay, I'm just doing.
What are we like? What is going on here?
Okay, right. So what it does is the player, whatever player he's talking about, he puts a price tag next to it, and that is using his board methodology with a combination of injuries, availability, impact in winning, etc. Of all these data in combination, he ranks his top 25. So we're not going to talk about Kyrie because we expect him to sign with the Dallas Mavericks. And James Harden right here is, we've heard he's going to sign with Philly, or there's obviously the sign. This is something we could talk about right now before we get into this, but there is we're hearing that James Harden might be traded again.
What? Where are you hearing that?
So the initial report right here is that there is a dark horse contender. The teams are not being mentioned. I believe it's either the Clippers or the Rockets. We've seen the Clippers shed salary. And there is being floated around the scenario that James Harden could opt in and trade. James Harden has somewhat unexpectedly left his $35.6 million player option with the Philadelphia 76ers lingering till Friday. If you decline the option, you don't have to fill out any paperwork. If you just opt into it, you do. And James Harden's got about 24 hours. And the plan is, he did his deal last year was to go into free agency. He would opt out of his deal and get a long deal with the Sixers. That was the plan last year. Now that $35 million, if he opts into it, he can be traded. The Sixers then could say you're under contract, you could be moved. And what we're hearing is that he could take this down to the wire in the next 24 hours. And if you're James Harden, you get into free agency and you want to know you're going to get a quick resolution with the Sixers, because the longer it drags out, the less money he's going to have and he'll lose leverage. So the thought is that Philadelphia might not be wanting him to get, give him the max money, and he might just not want to stay in Philadelphia. So Adrian Wojnarowski didn't outline any potential teams on which Harden could be traded to if he does opt in, with an eye on a potential trade. The Houston Rockets have been a long considered destination, but the Clippers have been shedding salary, and they have Paul George, who the Philadelphia 76ers would be interested in, and is somebody that the Clippers have been quietly talking and discussing about moving. So what are your thoughts that James Harden could potentially be traded?
That's pretty crazy. Well, if they're trading, if the Clippers are trading Paul George for James Harden, then why do they even want him? Are they trying to pair Russ with Harden again?
I guess it's more Harden with Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi?
Yeah. And
That's fascinating.
And what they might argue is, hey, guess what? James Harden, a bit healthier and consistent than Paul George.
Wow. What a crazy thing to say. Healthier.
Over the last...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, it's not by much, but, like, if you had to compare them, what?
What the hell was that?
A dog.
Did you hear that? Oh, no, there's something outside my window right here, right now.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
See it, bro.
Yo, what's up, Mr. 81? But yeah, no, I think
I love the idea.
I think, and in my mind, dude, if I'm the Sixers and James Harden tells me I'm opting in and I'm requesting a trade, you call up the Clippers, you say we want Paul George. Just straight up swap, no picks.
Oh, cool.
Would you do that? I don't think if at that point you just straight up swap them. I think they're both valued at the same at this point in their careers.
I mean, I don't think Kawhi would. Would Kawhi even care?
I think Kawhi's like, just give me some ballers on my team and like let me fucking. I think Kawhi also would love to play with James because James has slowly become more of a point guard over the last few seasons. He's been more of a facilitator. His game, he's aged well, James. So if he does opt in and trade, I think this would mean that first off, I think maybe they move on from Russell Westbrook. Because then they would have their point guard in James Harden. You run Norman Powell at shooting guard, Kawhi at small forward.
Yeah, but Powell is available for trade too. I don't even know
who.
Norman Powell.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in the Clippers' best interest.
Who's a better player right now in your mind, James Harden or Paul George?
In the regular season?
Just in general. I just think James Harden.
Yeah.
I think just straight up James Harden's a more impact. I'm not even a James Harden fan, but James Harden's obviously not the driver to the rim that he used to be, where like obviously he still can get to the rim somewhat, draw fouls, like he still can do it, but he's become more of this 3-point assassin who operates at the top of the key, who's able to facilitate, run pick and rolls, and be the floor general for a team. What he's done here in Philadelphia, and I think personally that is what would be perfect for the Clippers. What they've been missing in this whole Kawhi era.
Yeah, but I mean, Russ did that.
No, Russ didn't. Russ is a driver, bro. Russ did not space the floor like James Harden. James Harden, you get a guy who can consistently shoot 10 3-pointers a night, giving you a consistent. Russ will go quiet some nights, and no offense to Russ or anything. And I think Russ is probably a better defender than James Harden is right now. I'll give you that. But I think right now, James Harden is the better facilitator, the better floor general, the better winning basketball player, and he'll space the floor, which is something that seems like the Clippers are trying to get away from that ISO ball, and they're retooling and they're redoing this roster. And I think if they do an opt-in trade, it would be to the Clippers. That's the only team I could see him being traded. First off, you don't trade a superstar inside your conference, so it has to be a Western Conference team. The only Western Conference team I see is the Clippers, unless somehow the Dark Horse Blazers convince the Sixers to take Anthony Simons and Naz Little.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Russ was great for him last year. I don't think they're going to move on from Paul George unless he requests a trade. And
Shea Texan says he's not going to the Clippers.
Yeah, it seems a little far-fetched.
It was just something I want to float it out there.
I think I'd want to keep Paul George if I'm trading for James Harden, but I guess that's not possible. Why not just get Harden to opt out and then give him a long-term contract? And now you got to pick 3.
Because financially they can't do that. The only way they could acquire him is via trade. This ain't 2K, baby.
I don't know. I don't think it happens. Eric Gordon's gone now. Maybe they'd want to bring him back on a cheaper contract with his teammate Harden and Russ, but nah, I don't think it would be cool.
All right.
I think a more realistic trade for the Blazers that they should do is trade for DeMar DeRozan, because I think the Bulls might take Anthony Simons.
What about Zach LaVine? We've heard that they've been shopping Zach LaVine, but not DeMar DeRozan.
I think to trade LaVine, I would want Shaden or Scoot.
I'd give you Anthony Simons and Naz Little.
And I'm okay.
Okay, peace.
Well, so how about DeMar? Well, I'm offering you DeMar. You don't.
I think the Bulls value DeMar more than Zach LaVine. That's what you're overlooking.
No, because
they're not offering DeMar to trade.
We literally max Zach LaVine.
Yeah, but they've literally are dangling right now Zach LaVine for trade, and they're saying that they're getting limited market for Zach LaVine.
Yeah,
Zach LaVine's on the trade block. DeMar DeRozan.
I don't know. I wouldn't count him on the trade block. I'd say he's not off of the block. I don't think he's on the block. I don't think he's not untouchable, but I don't think they're actively looking to like Zach LaVine will be on the Bulls roster on opening night, unless they got lucky with the trade, which I think is a smart move to at least test the waters. But the Bulls' direction in general doesn't make much sense. All right, don't take DeMar DeRozan. I'm fine with that. I don't want to trade DeMar DeRozan. I'll take my big three. So
all right, let's actually start this free agency primer, guys. The first free agent right here that is probably, besides Fred VanVleet, who is either going to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors or go to the Houston Rockets. We discussed that yesterday. And I feel like that's just not even worth discussing. You know, the dark horse teams are the OKC Thunder and Orlando Magic, but I really just think Raptors or Rockets at this point. So we'll talk Miles Bridges, who is probably the best free agent available at this point. And this is a weird one. I personally think he goes back to Charlotte, and I believe they can do a 1+1 where then they get his early bird rights. So they kind of do a deal where it's like maybe a 1+1 for $40 million. So a 2-year deal, $40 million, but the second year is a player option. So first year's $20 million, second year $40 million. And the cool thing about this is, let's say if they sign him to a $20 million deal, they're actually only paying 19.3, which is against the cap because about $700,000 of that dollars is being suspended because of his suspension. So he's actually not a full cap hit if you sign because he misses the first 10 games of the season. Now, we assume that Miles Bridges is going to come back and look like the player we once saw a year ago. But we've heard today that the Cleveland Cavaliers are very much interested and are in the runnings to sign Miles Bridges. Now, your thoughts right here. What do you think of Miles Bridges? Is this a guy that you would go out and sign? Do you think it is worth taking him on? He did plead no contest to the charges he faced last year for domestic violence. We've discussed that before. And again, that's, off the court stuff. We're talking on the court productivity right here. What is your thoughts right here? Do you think he's somebody worth investing in? And is he going to be a guy that stays with Charlotte, or do you think he leaves Charlotte?
I think he stays with Charlotte for sure. 20 points per game. Sheesh. Pretty crazy. Played 80 games that year too. I don't think he fits in Cleveland, really. I mean, if you want to play in the 4.
What do you mean? I think he would be perfect in Cleveland. He'd be your small forward, bro, or he could be your 4.
I think he's more of a bruiser. I think I'd prefer him at the 4. So I think I'd prefer him in Charlotte either way. I think it just makes sense in Charlotte.
This is a guy. What?
The off the court issues probably turns the whole league away.
I don't think so. Now that everything's been resolved and that he's already been suspended, he only has to serve 10 games, so he'll be able to play 72 games, which means he'll be available to qualify for awards. This is one of the most athletic players in the league, okay? And he's got this wide size, 6'6", with I think a near a wingspan of, I believe, 6'10" on a 6'6" frame. He's nearly 230 pounds. Okay, dude, the guy can absolutely soar through the sky when he gets down in the lane. He can get downhill with the best of them. This guy, last time we saw him was a borderline all-star, maybe even borderline all-NBA, depending on how you see it. This guy's gotten better as a ball handler every single season. He's a high-volume scorer, high-volume three-point shooter, and he's improving as a 3-level scorer. And he took a huge leap the last time we saw him. And, yeah, his career's on hold due to, what has happened. But I really think this is a guy that Charlotte could get a great deal. Whatever team signs him is going to get him at a discount. Yes, what he did was terrible. What has happened is terrible. But again, that is off the court issues. It has been resolved. Teams want to win basketball. If he can play winning basketball, winning solves everything. As dark and as morbid as that sounds, that is how realistic this world we live in. I think it's in that whatever team that signs him, sign him long term. If he tries to tell you, let me sign a 1+1 so I can retest next year, you guys can re-sign me. You get first dibs if you match the contract. Fuck no. Let's give you that long-term deal, and we'll have it with incentives to escalate, okay?
What long-term deal are you giving him?
he was looking at before that. It was a 4-year, 120 million was what he was looking at last year.
It's ridiculous. He's not even gonna sniff.
That was starting last year. That was starting offers. He was looking at 4 years, 120.
Oh, and then he didn't play.
Well, he got the. You remember this happened June 27th, and free agency started on June 30th, so 3 days before free agency.
Yeah,
Shade. So he is not in. He is not in prison. He was not. He pled no contest.
He's at basketball games.
Yeah, he's on probation. Has the I think it was like 400 or 500 hours of community service. And Kelly Oubre, yes, is unlikely to return to Charlotte, which means Miles Bridges is cleared for there. What is your thoughts right here after me rambling for a long minute on Miles Bridges? Do you think he stays in Charlotte? Do you think a contender takes it up? We know teams like the Spurs and Pacers have a lot of money, and god damn it, the Spurs come out of nowhere and get him for a steal. Imagine Devin Vassell, Miles Bridges, Keldon Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, Jeremy Sohan, and whoever the hell plays point guard.
Miles Bridges will never play for the San Antonio Spurs, but I don't know. He's not getting 4 years, 120 million. That's crazy. I wouldn't pay this man long term at all. I haven't seen him play basketball in over a year, and I've seen 1 year where he averaged 20 points and 7 rebounds. So he had one good year. That's just too much money. But they were interested in it last free agency, so I get why you would want to long-term contract him, but I think it might be a little too complicated. I don't really know what his value is. I don't.
So where do you think he goes? If you had to take a guess,
Charlotte.
You think he stays in Charlotte?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on to the next player on our board, and that is a man by the name of D'Angelo Russell. Alrighty, where do you think D'Lo goes? He's a guy that it seems as if he's either going to stay in Los Angeles or he's going to go and potentially join a team where you can starting minutes. I mean, D'Angelo Russell is a guy at this point in his career. He is a 6'4" combo guard, point guard, whatever you want to call it. He's a one-time All-Star, and he's a guy who's a great creative ball handler and scorer. I mean, sometimes he takes some shots that he makes them, and you live with it. Sometimes he misses them, and you're like, But he hits them at a rate that it's acceptable. But sometimes he goes cold. And yes, he's flashy when he runs the offense, but he distributes the ball at a really good level in my mind. And yes, he's somewhat of a porous defender who doesn't consistently give efforts on trying to be a stopper, but he can shoot the ball, and when he hits them, his team wins. But when he misses them, they lose. He might be better suited as a six-man who offers instant offense rather than a starter. But at this point, what do you think of D'Angelo Russell? What is his value? I personally think a 2-year deal like Tyus Jones for $30 million is in the ballpark for him, with both years being guaranteed and no option on it. And he goes to a team, like I think maybe $20 million is the ceiling he gets paid, but I could also see him go to a team like the Suns because they're like, hey, you can be our starter, baby, with Jordan Goodwin, Mike James, and Cameron Payne. What are your thoughts on D'Angelo Russell at this point in his career? What is he worth in your mind?
Well, Phoenix, I don't think they can afford him outright.
They would have to give him like a minimum. That's what I'm saying. You would take the minimum to like a prove-it contract, and then he would, you get what I'm saying?
I'd do a sign and trade if you give me Ayton.
I don't think that's possible because sign and trade rules, I believe with D'Angelo Russell, he would be one of the more complicated ones because the Lakers would only be able to take half the salary back. So if you sign trade in for like $25 million, that means the Lakers could only take back 12.5 in the trade. And you would have to find a third team to send Ayton to, and then that team would have to send $12.5 million in salary, so it would complicate everything.
Yeah, I'll pay him around 20 a year. I'd give him a 3-year contract. I
give him mid-level.
Oh my goodness. I was under the assumption that Kyrie Irving would be a Laker this year, and then that quickly dissipated last year. So I don't know why D'Lo wouldn't be a Laker unless a sign and trade made sense.
Are you
for the
high on
Lakers.
on D'Lo? Like, what do you
Yeah,
think D'Lo is at this point in his career?
I
Can he
think
be
he's
the guy we
perfect
saw?
for the Lakers.
No, but can he be the guy we saw in Brooklyn? And why?
I mean, well, what are we? So we're only talking like a 4-point increase. I mean, no, probably not. He's only had 1 year where he averaged 20 points. 2 years. Oh, was that no? Oh yeah, all right, 2 years. Because he got that year where he was with Golden State was so weird, but he technically averaged 20 that year. Only played 45 games. COVID year. I mean, he's only averaged 20 twice in his career, so probably not. But last year, what did he have for the Lakers? 17.5 points, 6 assists, efficient shooting. He shot 41.5% from downtown. He started every Laker game but
I
one.
mean, I
Still
agree
played
that the
13
Lakers
games.
have to re-sign him because who's a better option out there in the market for point guard for the Lakers? Trey Jones, Corey Joseph,
Yeah, right. Pat Bev.
Pat Bev. Yeah, like am I wrong for thinking that this is a terrible free agency class? D'Lo is going to be re-signed by the Lakers because they don't have an option to improve. And I honestly think if you can, exchange Mo Bamba, Malik Beasley, maybe one or two other guys, and you bring back the whole core, and you are able to exchange Mo Bamba, Malik Beasley for a couple other guys, this isn't a bad team. That core made it to the Western Conference Finals. You tell me you can hit $26 million between Mo Bamba and Malik Beasley. You free that up. You bring somebody in like Bruce Brown, maybe bring in a Mason Plumlee. Maybe you can bring in Kelly Oubre. Bring back the whole same core. Not a bad team.
Yeah. I'd re-sign Schroeder and D'Lo.
That's what I'm saying. Lonnie Walker and Rui.
Yeah, it doesn't
Austin
seem like
Reeves.
Lonnie. Doesn't seem like Lonnie is going to be going back.
Yeah, I know, and it's definitely an interesting situation with the Lakers. That I mean, this almost kind of just devolved into our own little Lakers primer. But I think they bring back everyone except maybe Lonnie Walker. But he could also come back if his market isn't huge. But I also see Lonnie Walker being like a Miami Heat signing. And
Yeah.
so, look, what with them? Yes, correct. That is Zach's Spurs. That has been something that for many years has been part. Zach Spurs writes, with the new salary cap, I heard that there's a minimum payroll. If a team doesn't pay the minimum, the storage is paid out to their players. Is that correct? That actually has been there for multiple years. We've seen the Spurs, OKC, they've done it over the last several years where they ended up being, I believe, $15 to $20 million below the minimum salary cap. And with that being said, what they do is their players end up getting a bonus. And so they basically get a bonus for tanking. And I think the Thunder a few years back gave their players a combination of 20 million. So I think it was like Shea got an extra 5 million. And yeah, so all those guys get compensated pretty well if those teams don't spend the money and end up with a bonus. But that's why a lot of time at the deadline, those teams that are under the salary cap floor end up being destinations to get salary dumped because they'll be like, here, take this shitty contract in the first round pick.
Yeah, because it goes to the end of the year, right?
Yes, it goes to the end of the year. Correct. You have to have your books fixed by the last day of the season.
Yeah, the Rockets dilemma is frustrating for me because 47 million is a lot to pay, and I don't mind taking the Thunder route where you pay your players like $20 million. So you know what I'm saying? Like the Rockets spending 47 million, like, all right, Freddie, Brooke. I don't, it's not going to happen, but like Dylan Brooks and Brooke Lopez and Fred, just so you can clear that money, clear those books. But
no, I agree. It's an interesting strategy how it goes down, but I definitely think. Also, I want to say this rec center says it's open till 9 p.m. and they close. They weren't, dude. I don't even know the time when this rec center is open at. But
Dude, I was gonna go to the gym yesterday. Planet Fitness is 24 hours, and then for some reason I went to check their hours, and they close at like 6 o'clock.
really,
They close at 7 on weekdays and 6 on weekends now, which is ridiculous. What gym's open till you could?
well, I went the other day to play at like fucking 3, 4, and they were open. I go yesterday and they're closed. So
Yeah, summer hours can be weird. Was yesterday a holiday that I missed? Like,
I don't know, man. Either
doesn't
way,
seem to be. What's today? Eid al-Adha.
Cam Johnson is a guy who's looking like he's going to be paid 4 years, $100 million. But there's been rumors that the Pistons might come out of nowhere and say, "Screw you, Brooklyn, and we'll offer you 4 years, $120 million." But we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Why would I want to go play for Monty Williams again when I got unlocked by Jacques Vaughn? What are your thoughts, Cam Johnson? Does he stay in Brooklyn or does he go? It really just seems like the Pistons are the biggest ones in the market, but we've heard other teams like the Pacers could be interested in Cam Johnson's services. Is he worth it?
No,
The
not
Rockets
even
are
a
another
little
one.
bit. I don't even think he's a little bit worth it. I mean, he finished 25 games in Brooklyn, and he averaged 16.6 a night. He's a great shooter, almost a career 40% shooter. But I don't see Cam Johnson getting better from what he is right now. So if I'm a team, I just, yeah, I mean, we talked about Detroit with Monty yesterday. I don't think it would hinder him to go to Detroit because Monty is the head coach there. I don't think, I would assume most of the players liked Monty, but I'd stay with Brooklyn. Why not? Why'd you go anywhere else? You're going to get the most touches there. So,
no, that makes sense.
Boy McCall. I mean, I worry about a team like Houston being rumored to get Cam just to pay that, get past the 47 mil, and it's like, he's 27. I just haven't seen enough where I think he could be a star level player. So if he's not a star level player, well, for me, I'd rather pay a star level player or a star level player than Cam Johnson. So
I
hold on
completely
my
agree.
money.
So I think the last guy of interest, I mean, there's a multitude of players here we could talk to about, but I don't think Trey Jones, Jordan Clarkson, I mean, we talked about Austin Reeves yesterday. All these players we kind of talked about yesterday, we kind of established. But the last player that I think is definitely interesting and worth mentioning for us would be PJ Washington, who, as of right now, it's being reported is seeking a major payday and is going to have several suitors once free agency does start. And with that being said, he has a qualifying offer of 8.48. John Hollinger says he's worth about $19 million a year. He's a guy who's shown he's a jack of all trades, master of none type, and he's theoretically a stretch big, but isn't super devastating from three as he's 36% career three-point shooter on moderate volume. He offers small ball five potential, but struggles to defend at the big positions. He's more of a combo forward, but dude, he had a worse rebounding rate than Kelly Oubre last year.
Dude, what do you average?
I believe he might have averaged more rebounds than Kelly Oubre, but let me tell you, his rebounds were 4.9 rebounds per game. Okay, and he's a power forward, and Kelly Oubre averaged 5.2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be a down year for PJ.
Well, he had an up year because he was shooting. He had an average career high scoring. What do you think of PJ Washington? Do you keep him? Do you keep him?
Barely worse than his. I mean, his career average is only 5.5 rebounds a night. Hell yeah, I keep him. This guy's durable. I love his versatility on both sides. The 3-point shooting is nice, 35%, 6 attempts last year. career 36.5. I think he's a great player. I think he kind of almost reminds me of an Aaron Gordon type of impact that he could have. So hell yeah, I'd pay the man 19 mil. I think that's fine. I'd take the gamble on it if I'm Charlotte. I don't know what else I would do, to be honest.
Give him a 3-year, $60 million deal. Same deal Vooch just got. You get his bird rights.
Sure. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal whatsoever, and I think it's something that could potentially be good for them. I think
Hornets are not bad, man.
Hornets have a good.
Hornets will make the play-in.
You think?
Oh yeah. If LaMelo's healthy.
We got some big news in a sense that a man by the name of Yam Madar. Do you know who this man is?
No.
So Yam Madar was a second-round pick from a few seasons ago. He actually was national team teammates. He might have played on the same team as Denny Avdia. I can't remember if they both played on Tel Aviv. I think they might have, but they were on the national team together, drafted in the same year. This was arguably the best international guard available. He was drafted back in 2020. He's 22 years old. He left Israel and went to Serbia to get more playing time, and he's a hyper efficient guy. He's like 6'3", and he's honestly probably NBA comparison, probably a very George Hill-esque player. And I think this is a guy that right here they're saying that he might be coming over, join the training camp, and be put on a 2-way contract. And I think he's definitely a guy to keep an eye out for, that he plays very well. I mean, for example, if we wanted to, right here, I'll show us. But he's a guy that I personally think, if given the opportunity, could very well be a bucket, okay, off the bench and be a draft day steal. We've seen all these teams now stockpiling second round picks where they're being like, hey, we need to start getting these second round picks. And here's a nice little video of the young man. We'll show a couple of his highlights right here of him. He played for Partizan this past season. He's the one with the rock right now. And he's got some wiggle to him. He's a good driver. He's not the biggest guy on the floor, but he'll dive for loose balls. Okay, what the fuck? Did he just stand up?
Yeah, and then make it layup.
Wait, did we just see that? That man stood up.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
It's not very Euroball like.
He's got, dude.
Get this dude in the league already.
Do you fuck with him? He's got handles. He's savvy. Like he's got. I'll tell you, kind of a little George Hill-esque with him. Like he can drive.
That is not EuroLeague hoops. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's kind of tailor-made for the NBA, in my opinion. Like, dude, look at that fucking fadeaway at the elbow.
He misses that. He's bench. What are these shots? Oh, that shot's expiring.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like he knows how to draw. Oh my god, that feed down low. I'm telling you, this guy could be definitely somebody in the NBA. And
the new starting point guard for the Boston Celtics.
Dude, that'd be so cheap.
That would be so cool if he just worked his way into starter year one. The job's open. Technically.
So what?
The Boston Celtics starting point guard job is technically open.
Derek White is probably
I know, but it's Derek White's not all right, let's lock him in 100%.
So we do kind of have breaking news. It seems like it is a foregone conclusion for two guys to be heading to Houston. Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks to Houston. Mark Stein at the Stein line, which I think this is a pro Mark Stein show. I say Mark Stein has never really led me astray on my personal channel. I think he's one of the guys that we've said, I think he's very reputable source, incredible. What he says is usually very well vetted, you know? and he has put out a report that Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet are expected to sign with the Houston Rockets. We know that the Houston Rockets have a projected maximum at $83.6 million. We're looking at that. Brooks has been looking at a 2-year deal for $14 to $16 million. I believe it would probably be a 1+1 for $32 million, where, first year is maybe 14 million, with the second year being maybe like 18 or 16. And then we're hearing that probably Fred VanVleet's going to get that 2-year, $85 million or $83 million deal. So where it's like 41.6 each year, 41.8 each year. And I think that's a good deal because his deal will expire before you have to start paying your guys. And you can move if he sucks this first year. That's an easy contract to move because it'll be expiring next offseason. You're somewhat of a Houston Rockets fan. Now that they've seeming like they've missed out on James Harden, what is your thoughts that they're going to pivot inside Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks? Maybe even go out and get themselves a few other pieces to join the team. Ime Udoka is going to get some vets. We'll probably see Grant Williams even go.
The last thing I would call it is we missed out on James Harden. He missed out on us.
Oh, wow. You're saying that
most Rocket fans do not want James Harden back on this team.
I agree. You shouldn't.
He doesn't fit. Yeah. I mean, this Fred news came out yesterday, and I wasn't pleased with the dollar amount because it's ridiculous to pay Fred VanVleet $41.5 million to play basketball. It's an absurd number. But yeah, 2-year contract, all right. Dillon Brooks, 2-year contract, all right, whatever. I agree. Get the winning culture back in Houston. Show these young kids the rope. Amon will probably be icy from downtown and just shooting in general. So as long as it's a 2-year, I'm fine with it. But yeah, they'll probably, Plumlee, Powell, I would imagine their last free agent addition to be a big man. It could be Grant Williams. They could do Grant Williams.
Aaron says he thinks VanVleet is better than Harden. I think I don't know. I don't think so. VanVleet has has kind of regressed as efficiency wise. I think VanVleet might be a better defender, but
Freddie is one
Harden is a way better facilitator, way better scorer still at this stage of his career. But
it's better in every regard.
I think I do agree that
every single regard Harden's better at this point in his career. Yeah, and Fred's in his prime.
But I think VanVleet and Dillon Brooks are better fits for.
Yeah.
So with the report that we're hearing that Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks could go to Houston now that Harden is destined to probably stay with the Sixers or maybe even opt in and trade somewhere else. I think VanVleet and Dillon Brooks are guys. VanVleet can teach Amen Thompson and Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green how to be a good guard in the league and teach them defense and how to play even if you're undersized. Dillon Brooks, he gets to rebuild his value. You're basically probably committing between those two guys about $65 million, which will leave them with about $15 to $18 million still to play with. And they don't even have to commit these. It seems like they're going to give them 1-2-year deals or 1+1 deals, max 2-year deals. Like the Rockets are being smart here. They're not investing all of their money into these guys. They're letting these guys hey, we're going to time this up so that when our rookie contracts expire, we're able to pay our guys and we don't have to worry about, having to be stuck on these contracts and then make decisions and then try to lose all leverage. These are going to be easy expiring contracts to move. What are your thoughts on that?
These are ridiculous statements being made by Aaron saying All-Star is a popularity contest, and that's the reason that Fred VanVleet is better than James Harden. James Harden's worst year since probably his OKC days was this year, and Freddie will never sniff the statistics James Harden averaged this season. He'll never sniff it. In a career year from Freddie Double V, Rockford's finest, my hometown hero, will never sniff what James Harden will probably be averaging in his last year in the NBA. So ridiculous statements. The James Harden disrespect is real. But yeah, Fred works his all of his championship experience from his eight points a game coming off the bench for Kyle Lowry. James Harden would never come off the bench for Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I like Dylan Brooks, man. I obviously the thing that
This is a pro Dylan Brooks show.
the thing that is said is, well, I don't like his shenanigans. Don't make it dirty.
Well, with Dylan Brooks, I understand that people don't like his shenanigans, but he's definitely a guy that
Well, he
I
just
think
seems like a
when you
douchebag.
go ahead, yes, I know he can kind of pass off as a douchebag, but he's definitely a guy that he plays winning basketball. If you get a guy like Ime Udoka who can, learn how to control that and wield it and be like, hey, we need you to be a psychopath here, okay? Or kind of just how like Steve Kerr is able to control Draymond, okay? I mean, no one can control Draymond, but the idea is you could get Dylan Brooks. People forget that Dylan Brooks in his first 4 years of his career, he was an improving basketball player. It's just been the last 2 seasons that we've seen a little bit of regression, and that's probably because he's been putting up too many shots. Let's tone it down a little bit, and I think he's a great player. And then what we've been saying, that Fred VanVleet at this point in his career is probably a better mentor and developer and teacher of winning basketball and playing winning basketball than James Harden. And I think both of these guys won't financially cripple the franchise. We'll give them cap flexibility because you don't have to pay them long term. And I think definitely the idea of having these guys, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really sucks that free agency or the moratorium or whatever it's called doesn't start till like 6 tomorrow. That just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So Monday's episode is gonna be juicy because doesn't free agency free agency begins on Saturday, but the opening period begins tomorrow night. So you'll see all these signings happen tomorrow night, and yeah, of course it's Friday night after all the shows all week. But
we could always have a night show instead tomorrow.
It's my buddy's birthday tomorrow, and so we're doing something, unfortunately. But so I'm gonna miss all of this for the Houston Rockets. I'm gonna miss it all, but it's all right.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what the Houston Rockets do and how. I think they're going to be smart, keep the cap flexibility, bring in guys like Dylan Brooks, Grant Williams, Fred VanVleet, and give Ime Udoka a team that, maybe it won't compete for a championship, but these young guys are going to grow. They're actually going to play defense. This team's going to have a direction. And hopefully there'll be a plan, maybe surprise everyone and be maybe like a 6 seed or something and be like the OKC Thunder of last year where they're just a lot better than we were anticipating. And the future is really bright and they didn't handicap themselves to long-term contracts. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, big time. I mean, if I wake up and I got Fred on a 3-year, Dylan on a 3-year, I'm gonna be upset. Waiting for a superstar. See, the Rockets' main logic here is just flexibility because we've been so bad for so many years now. We just need to. It just comes a point where you just need to start winning, and we just need to win more basketball games, and we need to show these young kids, a little bit more of what it's like to be a winning franchise and what goes into it and what it takes. And you can still trade for a superstar, but I think for us, it's more important to have that financial flexibility 2 years from now where we can pay Jalen Green, we can pay Alperen Şengün, we could pay Kevin Porter, or he just got paid. But
I agree. That's well said.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You want to hear what I'm excited for right now?
The new Indiana Jones movie that just hit theaters tonight.
I'm actually not excited for that. I love Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom is one of my favorite movies, but I tried rewatching all the Indiana Jones and I realized that they fucking are so slow. But I wanted to say this real quick.
Game is fun.
The Lego game is fun.
Or just the PS2. Yeah, good game.
With the Summer League training camp games, I guess, on the horizon, the Boston Celtics have been solidifying their team for Las Vegas. And as you guys know, I went to the University of Kansas. I am now an alumni. The Celtics roster is featuring a former first-round pick that came out of the University of Kansas under the name of Udoka Azubuike. According to team sources who were granted anonymity because they're not authorized to speak to the record, according to Jared Weiss. Udoka Azubuike spent his first 3 seasons with the Utah Jazz. Danny Ainge's front office declined his 4th-year option before last season, and he's only scored 125 points in 359 minutes. And he actually had a few decent showings and meaningless games towards the end of the season, where last year are really the only stats that matter. And listen to this. For his career, he's played 68 games, averaged 9 minutes a night, 3.2 points a game, 76.9% field goal percentage, 3 rebounds, and half a block. But if we look at his stats to close out the year, he actually was not bad. He's 23 years old. He's a freaking athletic specimen. In the last 12 games of the year, he averaged 18 and a half minutes, 4 field goals attempts, hitting 3.2 attempts made at 79%. Okay, he shot 4 shots a game, made 79% of those. Okay, and he would get to the free throw line about 1.5 times, shot 35% from the free throw line, grabbed 6 rebounds a night in 18 minutes while putting up 7 points and averaging about a block a game. And as a starter, he played 4 games, 25.8 minutes. He shot 84% from the field on 5 attempts a game, hitting 4 shots. All right, shot 50% from the free throw line, grabbed 7.5 rebounds, averaged a block a game, and 8.5 points. All right, isn't that pretty fucking crazy to think about? Like, not bad for the man. And I think, look, if they were trying to find a diamond in the rough, maybe a cheaper version, if they end up somehow, for some reason, trading Robert Williams, what if Udoka Azubuike ends up being a phenomenal cheap replacement that they didn't even think they were going to use? I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm definitely going to be interviewing this guy when I'm at Summer League. And I don't know. Sorry for the rant. I'm just so excited just to see the possibility of Udoka Azubuike in a Boston Celtics uniform just is exciting. Thoughts?
I mean, it probably won't happen, unfortunately, but yeah, good for him. And no, Jalen Green is not even close to a superstar and probably will never sniff it, but I like Udoka. That's a great name.
Udoka, yeah.
Yeah, great name.
Great name.
It could be used as a first or last, apparently.
Is that so?
Well, Ime.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the same spelling?
Dude,
that's Jordan McLaughlin.
That's a great guess.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so quick.
I remember watching so much Jordan McLaughlin film in his rookie season. I don't remember why, but
I was into Jordan McLaughlin and then he sucked.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
still in Minnesota.
Yeah, we got him a cheap deal, dude. I just found Udoka Azubuike's mixtape, and it's only a minute long for this past season. The highlights. Fuck. They did him dirty, bro.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Damn, bro.
Udoka Azubuike, get him on over to Houston. I'll give you I'll give you a bench summer league spot.
Damn, you're really gonna do him like that?
We're close. Dude, our summer league roster is stacked. We got Jabari and Tari. We got the Jatari Safari coming out. And then we got Cam, we got Ty, we got Amon. There's too much talent on our summer league roster. He'd have to come off the bench.
I'm excited for summer league. I'm excited.
Summer league's always a fun little. They'll have they'll have like an ESPN Friday night. Victor Wembanyama versus Scoot Henderson, or Victor Wembanyama versus Brandon Miller. Live stream it, get a quick little 10,000 views. Yeah, man, summer league's always fun. I hope Udoka balls his ass off. I love noticing, like Haywood Highsmith on the Heat. Like he's always, like summer league standouts, role players, and then seeing them like have a role as a role player is always fun. It's like, oh shit, like I remember watching that guy in the summer league.
No,
like Josh Giddey. You remember Josh Giddey in the summer league? Like Lonzo Ball in the summer league. Like they're just.
I'm excited to see Victor Wembanyama. I know everyone.
Yeah, Vic committing to summer league was awesome. I was not anticipating that at all.
Chat's gonna be in summer league, dude.
Chat's gonna be very fun to watch too.
I'm gonna have so much footage that I'm gonna like just be fucking constantly uploading.
And you know who's always fun to watch in the summer league? Which team?
Who?
Let's see how many guesses it takes you to get it.
The Thunder.
No.
I don't know.
Well, keep going.
The Utah Jazz.
No.
The Houston Rockets. Chicago Bulls.
No.
Portland Trailblazers.
No.
Sacramento Kings.
No. Very close. Other side.
I feel like you're being an asshole now.
No, other side of basketball.
The Clippers, the Lakers.
No, other side.
I don't know.
Nobody's guessed it.
I think you're just being a fucking tool.
No, I have the team in mind.
Just say it.
When I tell it, no, because when I tell you, you're gonna be like, "Oh, you're right."
I don't know.
Nobody's guessed it. Nobody's guessed it in the chat. It's an Eastern Conference team, fellas.
Detroit Pistons.
No, close.
Milwaukee Bucks.
No, come on, you're close. Who watches Milwaukee Bucks Summer League games?
Milwaukee Bucks fans?
Probably not. We have Giannis. Just kidding. You're so close. It's not the Pistons, it's not the Bulls, and it's not the Bucks. And if you're close, what would that mean? No. You're so close. What's the
Toronto?
Team? No. Why is that? If you were so close and you guys,
I don't fucking know teams, at this point.
You guys 4 Central teams. You guys 4 out of 5 teams in the Central Conference, and all of them are close. And then you go to Toronto,
Chicago.
So close. No, it's the same conference though.
Chicago,
the Central Conference or Central Division.
Cleveland, Indiana.
There we go. The Indiana Pacers. Let's go.
Fuck you, bro.
Andrew Nemhard
basketball
is
universe.
Beast. He's gonna feast and feast.
All right, but right now I just want to make sure we're not missing any breaking news before we wrap up today's show. I haven't gotten any reports.
Milwaukee Bucks Summer League games. It's just so funny to me. I don't know why.
What, that I said that?
I just don't know. Like, I can't imagine watching a Bucks Summer League game, even though I'm gonna watch Summer League. Like, I don't know what it would do for me. Who's on their Summer League roster?
Oh, did you want to talk about Max Strus real quick?
Future Bull.
Future Pacer.
Future Bull.
Future Pacer.
He's probably a future Heat.
He used to play for the Bulls, and the Bulls gave up on him.
I know.
Okay.
But he's from DePaul. He went to DePaul. He could
but
come
we're
home.
Hearing Indiana Pacers want to give him Duncan Robinson money, $16 million a year, $48 million. Supposedly the Pistons in Orlando.
Million. Did you say $16 million?
Yeah, $16 million a year for Max Strus.
I'm chilling.
Are you chilling?
I'm chilling. I can get a cheaper Dylan Brooks.
I mean, not Dylan Brooks, Max Strus. Did I say Dylan Brooks?
No, you said Max Strus, but I'm saying I could get a cheaper Dylan Brooks over Max Strus. Like, I don't. Just go back to Miami, bro. They'll pay you.
I definitely think it's interesting to see how this has all just been playing out because, I don't know, in my mind, I thought.
Because the Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton, Aaron Gordon. You know, Benedict Mathurin next year is going to be interesting.
You think?
Yeah, he was just selected so early in the draft, and he had a great start to his rookie year. Still finished strongly. He'll be a double-digit scorer in his career regardless. But I'm wondering, what do we have there? Do we just have a high-level scorer?
I just think, like, look, this is a guy that definitely is – with Max Strus, I would just he tries. He's like is he better than Duncan? He's not a better scorer than Duncan Robinson, but he's a better defender and rebounder. He's never averaged
better. Duncan had a really good playoffs, but
yeah.
I mean,
Duncan makes 18 a year. Max Strus was about to make 16, and Max Strus hasn't shown that. When Max Strus this past year, he had an increased volume on his 3-point attempts, and he actually his efficiency went down. And Duncan Robinson, every year his shot attempts went up. He was a 13 points per game scorer. Like, I don't know.
This year?
No, the 2 years that he was really good.
Oh,
Max
that's
Strus
it?
is only like a 10 or 11 point scorer.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll pay Dylan Brooks. Max Strus on the Bulls, to me, it makes just so much sense in the world. And I guess if you're a team like the Pacers or the Bulls and you just need this shooting, then you do these contracts. But 3 years is salvageable to me. That if the Pacers or Bulls or Heat or whoever offers this contract, it's like it'll be fine.
I agree, and I think
But for me personally, no.
You wouldn't do it?
With Houston, no.
Why?
Because I can get Dylan Brooks for cheap, and he plays defense, and my team needs defense. But my Bulls need 3-point shooting, so I'd take Strus. 3-year, $18 million, a little high for me, but like, is he how much better is Max Strus than Naz Reid?
I think.
See,
yeah,
Naz Reid, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, not really, but like, I guess that's fine.
No,
I think Naz Reid's better than Max.
That Strus. I'd rather pay Naz Reid for the price difference. I agree that.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I don't even know at that point. Like, damn. You bring up a good point that I didn't even think about. Like, in comparison, is 3-point shooting held that highly in regard? It's not even like, I know Max Strus Max Strus isn't a bad defender, but he's limited. He's a limited defender.
I know. Teams are just so heavily prioritizing shooting in this era that it's just so important. B-Pod went 19. B-Pod went over Cam Whitmore.
I know.
Crazy. That is a crazy world.
So we live in this. I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, I don't know. But what if Max Strus becomes a Kevin Huerter?
That's possible.
Shit, yeah. Then that's a steal. Yeah.
Aaron Barnes just said like the Hawks are restructuring around shooting. So
yeah, join the fucking club, man.
Everybody's building around shooting. So it's just. I mean, Houston's. I think Ime Udoka is trying to do that right now.
Yeah, we need some 3-and-Ds, ideally like Brooke Lopez, Dylan Brooks, Freddie Double V. Every target we've looked into has that defensive prowess. I use that word right.
Yeah, you used it right. You used it right. Good for you. You used a big word, buddy. Good for you. Look at you using prowess. You got ostentatious. You know? All right. I think that's today's show because we beat Pirtle really quickly. You did it in the first fucking guess.
Per always. Another day, another dollar.
Another day,
like
another
Friday to me. It's pissed me off.
All right, guys. Be a friend. Tell a friend if you did enjoy today's show. We'll be back, I guess, tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe you'll learn another word tomorrow. I think most people here know the word prowess, though.
Yeah. You'll be the harbinger of diction for this show.
That's too big of a word.
Learn your SAT words, bro.
I've never taken the SAT, so.
You didn't take the SAT? How'd you get into college?
ACT.
SAT? Oh, ACT?
Yeah.
Dude, it says my phone has no storage.
That's the worst thing in the world.
It's like storage. God damn it. Peace out, guys.